Hi there, it's me. Today we're going to talk about secrets that the banks do you and want you to know about your money. It is a topic that I am very passionate about because it has been a journey of educating myself about money in the banking system and how it affects us on a daily basis. And I am excited to share some of the things that I have learned along the way with you. Now before we get started, please make sure you hit that subscribe button down below so you can join our awesome community. Also, please like this video if you appreciate us coming at you on a weekly basis with these personal finance tips. Alright, let's dive right in. Secret no. 1 is that the banks do you and they actually want you to have all of your money sitting in a checking account. Now, here in America, we are so accustomed to having our paycheck direct deposit into our checking accounts, and when we get that paycheck, it's really easy for us to think, hey, this is my money. I can go spend it whenever I want on whatever I want. But the bank doesn't necessarily want you doing that. What they would prefer is for you to leave that money in the bank, and then for you to take out a loan against that money and then pay interest on that loan. So when you leave your money in the bank, they can actually lend it out to someone else and you can borrow it back through a loan. So how does the bank benefit from this? Well, the bank will take your money, which is sitting in your checking account, and they will lend it out to someone who wants to buy a house. That person will then pay you back over time through a mortgage, and the bank will take a portion of that payment that goes towards covering the interest that they have to pay you back for lending them your money. But why would you do this? Why would you want to put your money in a checking account when you could earn interest on it by leaving it in a savings account? Well, first of all, you're really not going to earn very much interest on your money if you leave it in a savings account. Plus, the bank wants you to be able to have access to all of your money whenever you want. So if you need to take out a loan, but you do not have any equity built up because you aren't left any money in the bank, then guess what? The bank can deny your request for a loan. This is why it's important to have some money in your savings account, but not all of your money in your savings account. Having some money in your savings account shows the bank that you're responsible with your money and that you're willing to save. But if all of your money is in your savings account, then the bank doesn't feel like you need them anymore because you don't need their services. Secret note 2 is that the banks don't want you to know that credit scores aren't everything. There's something called FICO scores. It is a scoring system that banks use to determine how likely you are to pay back a loan. Most people believe that their credit score is the only thing that impacts whether or not they get approved for a loan. But this isn't always true. In many cases, banks are willing to overlook a low credit score if the person applying for the loan has other things that make them look like they're trustworthy, such as having a steady income, lots of equity in their home, or being married. Now, if you're single, don't worry. Being single doesn't automatically disqualify you from getting a loan. You just need to make sure that you have other things that make you look trustworthy to the bank. The next secret is that the banks do want you to know that they set the exchange rate for foreign currency. The exchange rate is the value of one currency in relation to another currency. For example, if I have one United States dollar, how many euros can I get for that dollar? Well, that depends on the current exchange rate between the US dollar and the euro. Banks are the ones who set these exchange rates. They don't come from the government or some other governing body. This means that banks can manipulate the exchange rates to make it more expensive for you to convert your money when you travel abroad. Or they can make it cheaper for you if they want to incentivize you to convert your money into a certain currency. This is why it is important to shop around and compare the exchange rates that different banks are offering before you convert your money. Secret no. 4 is that banks do want you to know that most of the money in the world is created through debt. When you take out a loan from a bank, that money is created through debt. The bank lends you the money with the expectation that you'll pay it back with interest. The interest is how the bank makes money. Most people don't realize this, but it's true. The majority of the money out there is created through debt. This is why it's so important to be careful when taking out loans. If you take out a loan and don't have the ability to pay it back, you're just adding to the amount of bad debt in the world. Bad debt is debt that's used to buy things that don't appreciate in value. For example, if you take out a loan to buy a car, that car is going to depreciate in value. This means that you're borrowing money to buy something that's losing value. On the other hand, good debt is debt that's used to buy things that appreciate in value. For example, if you take out a mortgage to buy a house, that house is likely to appreciate in value. This means that you're borrowing money to buy something that goes up in value over time. This is why it's so important to be smart when taking out loans. Make sure you're only using debt to buy things that will go up in value. Secret no. 5 is that the banks don't want you to know that they profit from overdraft fees. Overdraft fees are charges that banks impose on customers when they attempt to spend more money than they have available in their account. For example, if you have $100 in your account and you try to spend $120, you'll likely be charged an overdraft fee. Banks love these fees because they're a great source of revenue for them. In fact, overdraft fees make up a significant portion of the profits that many banks earn each year. However, there are ways to avoid overdraft fees. First, you can look for banks that don't charge overdraft fees. Some banks, especially online banks, don't charge overdraft fees. This can be a great way to save money. Second, you can set up a system to avoid overdraft fees. Most banks have systems in place that will notify you when your account is getting low on funds. You can also set up automatic transfers to move money from your savings account to your checking account. If your balance gets too low, Finally, you can just be more aware of your spending. If you keep track of your spending and make sure you have enough money in your account to cover it, you'll never have to worry about overdraft fees. Alright guys, those are 5 secrets that the banks don't want you to know. But there's one more bonus secret I want to share with you. The next secret is that the banks do, want you to know that you can control your finances by educating yourself. The best way to do this is to read books about personal finance. When you read books about personal finance, you'll learn how to manage your money, save money, and invest money. This knowledge will help you make smarter decisions about your money, which will put you in a better position financially. It can be hard to find the time to read books, but it's worth it. You can start by setting aside just 30 minutes each day to read. Over time, this will add up to a lot of knowledge. You can also listen to audiobooks while you're doing other things, such as driving or working out. This is a great way to make use of time that you would otherwise be wasting. If you're looking for a good place to start, I recommend starting with the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. This book is a classic, and it's a great introduction to the world of personal finance. I hope you enjoyed learning about these secrets that the banks don't want you to know. If you did, please make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel so you can join our awesome community. We release new videos every single week, and I don't want you to miss out. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I hope you're having an amazing day.